Hi everybody, I'm Ben Hobson. I am a prospective science teacher, mainly focusing on biology, and I'm here to talk about some of the problems and solutions that I've had in my first semester of teaching. So my first problem, one that I encountered pretty early on, was students who weren't exactly confident that I could be a good teacher. And I think that was because in the beginning of the semester, when I wasn't as involved in the direct teaching, I was kind of seen as the nice adult aide in the class, not as much as a teacher as just like a helper for the teacher. And so students liked me for that extra help, but they came to not take me as seriously when I stepped into the teaching role. And so that was tricky, and I think my solutions for that I've been practicing are particularly building self-confidence in myself, building up that air, that behavior that teachers just have and tend to exemplify, that makes them seem like the authority in the classroom, having that self-confidence. And it also kind of comes with a behavior change. I want to be the comforting person, and I definitely want to be friendly to them and helpful, but I have to really practice those moments where I have to stop being nice and I have to be more firm and I have to be more assertive with students to make sure that they understand that I am the authority in the classroom. A second problem that I've run into is just sometimes the long days. I'll feel like I slept fine and I get extra tired, or I get anxious about not leaving anytime soon from my site. And I think a lot of that will just be mitigated by physically preparing myself, making sure that I'm going to bed on time, that I'm eating meals right, that I'm drinking plenty of water, and that most importantly, in my opinion, I'm scheduling my time properly. I know how much time I have at home that I have to dedicate to assignments for the Credential program. I know how much time I have to assign to myself to practice lesson plans and write lesson plans, and I know how much time I have to myself to wind down at the end of the day. A third problem that I've run into during my student teaching is getting the point across in a lesson with a reasonable amount of time so that I get through everything that I intend to get through without losing a few minutes, because if I lose 5 minutes every class because I'm going too slow, I'm going to lose a whole lesson over the course of 2 weeks, and then my students will be behind where I want them to be. So a lot of this comes with personal practice. I've been rehearsing more and more as I write a lesson plan. I say it to myself. I figure out what I want to say, and that's really helped cut down the time that I might potentially waste in class. I know what I need to say, and I know what I don't need to say. I've also included in my lesson plans more speaking notes so that I can quickly glance down at a lesson plan, catch a few words about talking points, and then I can get right to them, writing them on the smartboard or just speaking about them in general. This also ties in really well with lab protocol, because often labs require a lead-in for students where they have to do a pre-lab, but the teacher also has to talk about safety precautions and other important things that students need to watch out in the lab. And that's just something that I need to focus on with reading through labs carefully, making note of those specific points, and trying to make them concise yet realistic and making sense for students. All right, thank you for listening.